How's everybody doing out there tonight? John Seats. Good to hear from you, brother. Scott, good afternoon, bud. Who else is out there with us tonight? Oh, Mark Coleman. I knew that. Good to hear from you, bud. Like every other weekend or every other week, we'll have a few more jump on and we'll fire this thing up. I don't know how it is where you guys are at, but we've had some nasty, severe weather here today. We still have it going on. Power's been off, back on. I thought I was going to have to cancel this. I don't know if it's going to go back off or not, guys. So if we lose each other, that's why. Got tornadoes all on the ground, all around us. Right now, it looks like it's all north of me now. So I think we're in the clear. But if you hear somebody running down the stairs 100 miles an hour and come blowing through this door, you know something's wrong. That's Stacy. She hates storms. She's scared to death of them. So we'll see how it goes. Austin Lamb, good to see you on here, bud. Scott, you got 3 inches of rain in 4 hours. Yeah, man, it's been getting a lot of rain. We just had a storm, little pop-up red stuff just go through. Storms went through, the sun came out, looked like it was over with, and next thing you know, I got ready to get in the shower. It started thundering, and it was raining so hard, we got a half-inch of rain in about 10 minutes. It was just crazy. Doug Lamb, good to see you on here, bud. John got red zone on the ground. Perfect. Mark Coleman asking if there's anything we can do to help get rid of ticks on deer. It's funny you ask that, Mark, because I've been doing a lot of studying on that. And we've been actually working on it for a couple of years now, looking into a few different things. Not as easy as what some would think. But we are definitely looking into that and seeing what we can do and have it being cost effective. That's going to be the thing. Again, there's a lot more to it than you think, but there is some stuff out there. There's already some stuff in the livestock part of it that helps. So we're trying to look in incorporating something together in wildlife and livestock. So, but yeah, there is some. Now, for the ones that are lucky enough to use a trophy deer mineral, I'm not going to say on here what product, what is in it that does it, because I don't want our competitors knowing. But definitely benefits the deer from ticks with a trophy deer mineral. But again, not all states you can use it legally. So where a regular tick repellent, you can. So, but yeah, the trophy deer mineral works very, very well. It takes a few years of using it to really get it going in the deer system and the bloodline, but really, really helps. Well, let's just go ahead and talk about our topic here tonight. Just run through, make sure I'm not talking by. Scott, you're exactly right. Conservation, you know, The bad thing about it is, you're saying the conservation ties our hands and feet to anything otherwise. I truly don't think it's a conservation. The conservation has to listen to the higher ups that make that call. I truly believe that, and I think I always will. I think there is places out there that the state gets a lot of money from, and certain people make the call, and the authorities got to go by it. So, not saying that could be everywhere, but in Illinois, I really think that's the case. I know you're not Illinois, bud, but I really do think that's the case. Try to watch what I say before I get fired. So, but all right. Tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about weed and grass control. Something a lot of people worry about. Probably one of the easiest things you can do. You just really got to watch what you do. The amount of select herbicides that you use, how you use them, where you use them, what you use them with. But pretty simple. I mean, jot down a few notes. Very, very simple to do. You know, most people right now, they're looking into maintaining their perennial plots, their clovers and their alfalfas. So you look at a grass control, you know, you look at a product called clethodim. You know, that's something that you can get at a lot of different farm stores. Very inexpensive for how little bit that you actually use. And the clethodim 2E is one of my best friends when it comes to getting rid of grasses out of food plots. Even my annual plots that don't have grass species in them, I use it a lot. I use it on my honey hole. I use it on different things like that, slam dunk, and works very well. But the clovers, alfalfas, you know, our Booner Buffet, our Game Changer clover, our Trophy clover works excellent. It's a select herbicide. It will not kill the clovers, the alfalfas. But when it comes to annuals, as in your broadleafs, so you look at a perennial plot that has a lot of annual broadleafs in it. You know, with clover being a broadleaf, you'd think anything you spray on there would kill it. But the one I use more than anything is the Boot Rack 200. I'll show it here to you guys. Oh, hit the right button. I use the Boot Rack 200. It's one that I use a lot. It's 2,4-DB. Again, you guys heard me talk about 2,4-DB a lot. I always say make sure it has that B as a boy after it. The Boot Rack 200 is just is made by AgroStar. Very, very inexpensive. I buy it at my local co-op. I pay like $40 for a 2.5 gallon jug of it. It'll last me 2 to 3 years on 6 acres of clover. So very, very, very inexpensive. Where the clethodim's a little higher price, you're usually looking about $75 a gallon. But you're normally only running about a half ounce of clethodim per gallon of water. So them are the two herbicides. But let's jump back here and let's talk about this clethodim. Again, clethodim is a grass herbicide, a select herbicide that you can spray on your clovers, your alfalfas, and it will not kill the clover. But one thing a lot of people don't do, they do not read the labels on these herbicides. For me, with light grass control, and when I mean light, I'm talking 4 or 5 inches and lower of growth. I'm looking at grass growth. I'm using a half ounce of clethodim per gallon. Now, if I got heavy control as over that, you can go up to about 1.5 ounces per gallon. But with clethodim, you never want to spray over 16 ounces of cleth per acre. So if you're spraying an acre plot, the hottest you want to make that mix is 16 ounces. So always remember that. Never spray over 16 ounces per acre. So again, light control, I'm using about a half ounce of herbicide to a gallon of water. Heavy, I'm using about anywhere from 1 to 1.5, never over 1.5. So now with the Boot Rack 200, I'm using anywhere from 2 to 3 ounces per gallon. Lighter control, I'll go down to 2 ounces. Heavy control, I'll jump up there to 3 ounces. With this one here, you don't have to worry so much about per acre. It's just mixing it right. I mean, there's no reason to mix it hot if you don't have that many weeds in there. Don't think you're going to try to do it better, because no matter which one of these you spray, especially the broadleaf, the Bootrack 200, the 2,4-DB, especially that one, even though it's a select herbicide, it will stun the plant. So you're going to see a plant maybe get some little spots on it, yellow up a little bit, brown up the tip of the leaves for about a week or so, and then come out of it. That is because you're killing its species, but not killing it. So it's just something you will stun it. Now, to help with that, especially on the clover and alfalfas, the clover fuel, I mix it in with every single one of my tanks, no matter if I'm spraying the grass herbicide, the clethodim, or if I'm spraying broadleaf, the Bootrack 200, 2,4-DB. No matter which one I'm spraying, I'm mixing in fertilizer with that, and that will help that plant jump back from being stunned a lot quicker. So with these, you always want to add a surfactant to it. You can use bean oil, you can use crop oil, whatever you want to use there. I always use Dawn dish detergent. You guys heard me say that a lot. I mean, I buy it by the gallons. It's very, very cheap. I just use Dawn dish detergent. But I'm always, especially when I'm killing off, I'm always using the AMS Supreme. The AMS Supreme will really help that adhere to that plant and give you a lot better burn off of them unwanted species that you got in your plot. So, and that's something that you can pick up for about $20 for a 2.5 gallon jug at your local Rural King, Farm and Fleet Farms, all that kind of stuff. So it's not something you have to have in there, but it will really help. And if you're trying to kill an area off completely, like using Liberty or glyphosate, it almost makes it like it's on steroids by mixing this AMS Supreme in there with it. So always a good one to mix in with. But again, you benefit so much by adding fertilizer, a foliar fertilizer with that. You can spray it all in one tank. You can mix your clethodim or your Bootrack 200. You can mix that right with your surfactant, your clover fuel, your plot max, that soil at the same time. You can mix all them in the same tank and spray one pass. So with all them mixed in there, you're actually conditioning the soil, you're fertilizing the plant that is about to be stunned by using a select herbicide, and you're killing off them wanted species that you want killed off. So them are the two that I use. And like I say, you go out and buy a bottle of clethodim for $75. You go buy that's for a gallon. You go buy a 2.5 gallon jug of the Bootrack 200 for about 35, under $40. And them will last you for quite a few years, unless you're spraying 10, 15 acres a year. You know, if you're in that 5 acres or below, they'll last you for many years. Just do not let them freeze, including any of the soil conditioner, the foliar fertilizers. If they freeze and have been froze, throw them in the garbage. That is just, it just kills it. It breaks the chemicals down. No good anymore. And a lot of people are real bad about that with their herbicides. They let them freeze. That's the worst thing you can ever do. You just well as go out there and pee on the weeds. You got a better chance of killing them with that than it is with a frozen type herbicide. So, but no, always for. But another problem a lot of people have is they want to mix both together, both herbicides together, spray at one time. So worst thing possible you can do with these two products. I'll show you one here that'll do it. But with these two products, the clethodim and the 2,4-DB, I will never spray any earlier than 7 days apart with each of them. I usually always hit my grass first. About 7 to 8 days later, I'll hit my broadleaf. So even, like I say, these are select herbicides, but they are going to stun that plant. So when you give them a double whammy, you're really stunning them bad. Another thing to talk about with the Bootrack 200, kind of bouncing around here, it will kill the chicory. So you really got to watch that on that chicory. That Bootrack 200 will kill the chicory that is in the Booner Buffet and the Trophy Clover mix. So you will kill it. Now, for the guys that don't have the time, they just want to do a one pass, get out of there, kill both of them. If you want to spend the money doing it, IMOX is the way to go. It'll kill your grass and your weeds at the same time, but you're talking a lot of money. Usually you get into the IMOX, you're probably looking anywhere from $120 to $175 a gallon usually. So it gets pretty costly real quick, but it will kill both at the same time. So you can just do a one pass and not have to worry about coming back a week or so later to spray whichever one you didn't spray the first time. So that's the products I highly recommend. I've used the Clethodim and the Boot Rack 200 for many, many years, and I will continue because I have such good luck. The thing to always look at, though, these are slow release chemicals. So you spray that Clethodim, you might go 2 weeks and go, man, this stuff didn't work at all. I don't even see hardly any browning. And then you go back 2 days later and everything's just yellow. It's very slow. The Boot Rack 200 is not as slow with the broadleaf, but it is slow, but not as slow as a clef. But that grass control is a very slow releasing agent. So you really want to give it the time and don't think, man, I sprayed it and something must have been wrong. I'll go spray it again. Give it a couple weeks and you'll see a difference. So it's not like using glyphosate or Liberty or 2,4-D or something like that show within this couple 3 days. Yeah, it takes some time. So always give it time to do its job, and it'll work out well for you. You guys are going to pop over here and just see if anybody's saying anything here. Now, if anybody's reading any comments on here, a dear friend of mine just posted this on here. I have almost done this myself. And I know other people have done it because I've got the phone calls. This pretty much goes to fertilizing instead of weed control fertilizing. When you buy your fertilizer, make sure that you buy a fertilizer that is not a weed and feed. So, like I say, dear friend of mine found a good deal on some 32% nitrogen, grabbed it, put it down, and then realized that it said weed and feed. So the weed and feed on a lot of plants you can get by after the plants are emerged and you put it on there. But putting it on virgin soil that doesn't have anything planted yet, it will kill the seedlings. So, and some of the, it could set in that soil and it could be there for, I mean, some 2 months, some 4, some 6. So really watch on that fertilizer. John, I'm glad you brought that up on here, man. Really watch what you're buying in them bags and make sure that it's not a weed and feed because it can hurt you for possibly your whole year for planting. Mark, tornado sirens going off back to where you're at? Yep, I'll tell you what, man, they've been all over here. It's crazy, man. I know you're not very far from me at all. I didn't think I'd even have power right now to even do this. Anthony's asking, will IMOX kill chicory? No, it will not, Anthony. You can use it over top of chicory. And good to see you on here too, bud. Wife and I was just talking about you, but I'm not going to tell you why, or what about, but we were just talking about you maybe 25 minutes ago. That'd be a story for a different day. Hope that little one's doing good, bud. But no, again, guys, like I said, pick the proper thing that you need to kill out. If you don't have broadleaves coming in your plot, if you don't have grasses coming in your plot, don't spray them with it. All you're doing is stunning the clovers that you're wanting to grow. I know some guys that go out it could be the weedest-free plot you ever seen in your life, and they will go out every month and spray a weed herbicide on it just to keep the weeds down. There's no use for doing that. All you're doing is stunning them plants for a week or two of growth that they could really get out of it while they're trying to get back better and take care of themselves from being stunned out for so long. I only use herbicides when I need to use herbicides. And I try to use herbicides when the weeds and grasses are young. I don't like letting the plot get overgrown because it's hard to kill them. A lot of times when I'm maintaining a plot, if I got grass and weeds in there, my clovers are starting to flower, I need to mow them, I will go in there and I'll spray my plot. I'll wait about a week. And usually I'm spraying just for grass control. I hardly ever have an issue with weed unless it's a brand new clover plot. But after that plot's 2 years old, I hardly ever have a weed problem. It's always grass. Excuse me. And mostly on my power line areas, stuff like that. But I will get in there and I will try to, I'll spray it. And after I spray it, I'll wait about 10 days. Even though my flowers are on my plants, I need to mow that clover. I'll wait about 10 days. And by then you might start seeing some yellowing in them grasses. And then I'll go in and mow. Because by then my clovers are already bouncing back. I've added the clover fuel to it. I fertilized them. And they're already bouncing back in that 10 days. The grass is starting to grow. It's already in the root system. Then I'll go in there and mow it down and it's gone. So I like doing it that way. I'll do the same thing with weed control if I have it. I'll always wait about 10 days and then go back and mow it. So I just want them clovers to be bounced back, healthy again, not being stunned out from the herbicide, and then I'll mow them. So it works very well that way. I do not like mowing and then spraying because you got a lot of open wounds there in them clover plants. They absorb more in. I know that there's not a fact that they do that, but I really think you can hurt the clover a lot more and the alfalfa a lot more by spraying it over a cut plot just because all the cut open plants. So again, I have no scientific evidence of that. It's just my brain telling me that not to do it. Always spray it prior to cutting. Jeffrey's on here saying 2,4-D is a once a year spraying. I don't know what you're reading on that, bud. Don't be spraying that over your clover because that'll kill it dead. But I'll tell you what, guys, and I know we sell it. There's so many other companies piggybacking off of us and getting in with it. But these foliar fertilizers are the way to go. If you do not use foliar fertilizers, now I'm not telling you not to use granular. I always stress, use granular when you plant or spring of the year on existing plots. Put your granular down, give that plot a boost that it needs, and then play with the foliar fertilizers throughout the year and give them a couple doses of it. You'll be blown away by what you can, the tonnage you will receive, the difference. Spray half a plot just to see what it does. It's amazing. I mean, clover fuel here, I got gallons of it. I use it. Everybody asks me all the time, how's your clover plots look so good? I shouldn't say 99%. Big part of it is my maintenance program, but that foliar fertilizer, if I see them plants even looking like they're wanting to yellow a little bit, they're wanting to starve for nutrition, I'm not getting enough rain to even help break down any fertilizer if I do put potash on it. So I will spray it with the liquid potash and they will come back to life. Now you get into a drought situation, then plants are dormant. You're wasting your time, wasting your money. But as long as they're in their growing state, it makes a big difference. The jolt's the same way when it comes to your annual plots. I mean, I will not have a plot without using foliar fertilizers. So you can either buy ours or you can go to a farm store and find something that they got. I mean, I don't care. I'm just telling you, you need to try them and you'll love them. Floyd said he had a raving review from one of his clients on Clover Fuel today. Good to see you on here, Clover. Clover. Good to see you on here, Floyd. I think I've called you everything but Clover before. Heck. My mind's still out there with all these storms bouncing around. But no, guys, I mean, if you got questions, ask some questions. I mean, that's about as easy as it gets when it comes to herbicides on your perennial plots. I mean, there's not much to it. If you want to talk a little bit about annual plots, some of your mixes is going to have some grass species in them, so you really want to watch spraying clethodim on them. You never want to spray 2,4-DB, the Bootrack 200 on your annual plots, because you will smoke them, because the manuals that, I mean, you're looking at broadleaf type plants that they're going to kill. So, I mean, you can get by with the clethodim on them, but you get in grade 8, no sweat. Them two there, you definitely do not want to spray clethodim on. You really want to watch that. Really, really want to watch that. You don't want to spray it on Barricade. Barricade is one of them, our shield product. There's products out there that you can spray on the Barricade that won't kill the sorghum. But what I try to tell people, you're building a shield. Don't worry about the grasses underneath. Don't worry about the weeds. This is going to make it thicker, because if you don't spray these mixes at a certain time in the plant's life, you will kill them. And the main one that a lot of people use is, I'm trying to think the name of it right now. I can't think of it because I try not to tell anybody about it because I don't want them trying it, is you have to get that sprayed when that plant is between its 3rd leaf and its 4th leaf. Well, if you ever walk out into a plot, I don't care if you're in a cornfield or where you're at, all your plants aren't always leafed out the same. So you got a good chance of killing some out of it if you got a few that are in that 3rd to 4th. So let that Barricade grow up, let it do its thing. I know the first few years I planted it drove me nuts because I'd have weeds and grasses come up, but it made it thicker and made it a lot better for the rabbits and everything and the birds to nest in. So anymore, I just let it go. So, but I seen firsthand what it could do by spraying one at the wrong time. And a buddy of mine did that. And he did it with probably, I'd say maybe about a half mile of Barricade planted around a field. 2 fields, actually, probably about a half mile's worth. And he killed every bit of it, deader than a doornail, when it was about 3 foot tall. So, and it goes back to not reading instructions. So that's why I steer away when people ask me about Barricade. That's why I do it. Mark's asking, how will rain affect your application of herbicide? Should you try to watch for a dry day forecast? Actually, good question, Mark. If I'm spraying foliar fertilizers, this alone, I like that early morning with a dew on, late evening with the dew on, not when it's 95 degrees in the middle of the day with the sun beating down on it. I do not like that. A lot of people think that's better because it absorbs it right in. I don't like that. I do want the temperature, to get up there. I want some heat. So earlier in the year, I definitely want that to get up to at least 70 degrees before I use it. Try to. So you might have to wait till midday, but in the middle of the summer when it's hot, same way I do with this here, my herbicides, I'm spraying them early morning, late fall with a dew on. So I never spray in the middle of the day with it being hot. Now, when it comes to rain, I would rather wait and spray after a rain than try to beat it on before a rain. If you can get that on, for a good, on both of them, they're a little different, but on both of them, just give yourself 6 or 7 hours. You're going to be all right. But I would rather do it after the rain's over with and the plants are starting to dry out, then put it on. I don't like trying to beat a rain with it. Now, if you're just spraying foliar fertilizers alone, you can get it sprayed. It can rain in 45 minutes and won't hurt nothing. But I would definitely wait on that herbicide, spray it after the rain, or on a day that you're not getting rain, and just do it early morning, late evening. If it's early in the season, your day is only going to be 65, 70 degrees. Wait till middle of the day when you got that heat beating down. But if it's going to be 80, 90 degrees, do it early morning, late evening. Scott saying, I found the garden plant such as vegetables like. Scott, what are you talking about, bud? Oh, you found that garden plant. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I misread that. Anthony, is there a chemical that will kill, say, who? But not clover and alfalfa? That's a hard one, bud. If I was going to use anything on that, I'd have to spend the money and buy IMOX. I mean, it might take a few applications, but it will do a lot better job. The Boot Rack 200 is not going to kill that sedge. So the IMOX is very good at that. Again, maybe a couple applications, you might burn it the first one. You never know, but that would be my go-to if I had an issue with it. John getting the barricade planted, new row. That's good. Floyd's asking about sledgehammer. Are you talking about the one you use to beat in a stake, or are you talking about the old weed? Same thing, bud. There's a lot of nasty weeds out there, a lot of nasty broadleaves that is about impossible to kill with a select herbicide because you can't get it hot enough. And it doesn't have the right chemicals, number one, just because it would kill the species that you don't want it to kill by trying to use it. What I've told people, I talked to a guy today on the phone about it. He was worried about chicory in his clover. You know, he had thistle, just hit and miss here and there on his plot. I know it can be a pain in the butt. The best thing you can do is take some Liberty or something like that doesn't creep, put it in a hand sprayer and go spot spray. I mean, that's about the best thing to do because you can hurt a plot in a hurry trying to kill certain things that the select herbicides won't do. No, Scott, yes, absolutely. You're saying you're talking about using the Jolt on vegetables. I understand what you're talking about now. Yeah, that Jolt fertilizer is unbelievable for gardens. You can't believe how much of it I sell to people for gardens. And another thing that Jolt fertilizer is good for, and a lot of people don't do it. I used to do it with granular all the time. Now I use the liquid. You go out and find you an old acorn tree that you want to really produce. Find that drip edge on that tree, and you just start spraying around that whole drip edge on that tree and do it a few times a year. You'll be blown away of the production of acorns you get off that tree by giving it that extra nitrogen. So the drip edge is where it really picks up that fertilizer, that food, and it works very well. I used to take 50-pound bags of triple 19 and go around them, Maria, and go around them drip edges for years, just to really better an acorn spot for early season. And now I use the Jolt to do the same thing. Floyd, you're talking, I figured you was, you're talking about the sledgehammer herbicide. Let me look into that, guys, because I've looked in a little bit. Some of it kind of scares me. Some of it doesn't. I don't want to tell you wrong on here right here tonight. Let me look in on that, and I'll get back with you. I've read stuff on it that is safe for clovers and alfalfa, and I've read stuff that is kind of iffy. So I really want to kind of get down on that because that's something that a lot of people are starting to talk about. It must be Must be coming out to a lot of stores or coming out somewhere, because I've had quite a few calls this year on that herbicide. And that's why I started looking into it. Is this here recently? So let me see what I can figure out on that and get back. I'll talk about in the next one. And because I get iffy, and I really get iffy until I try one in a test spot. A lot of people tell you something to do something, but I'm the guy that's hands-on. I want to test it and to make sure what it's going to do, because last thing I want to have you guys do is take something I told you at work and go out there and smoke a plot, and I haven't tested it yet. So let me see what I can figure out, and I want to see if I can get my hands on some of it. And I get calls all the time. People wanting to buy herbicide from us. Selling herbicide is like working with the mafia. It's something that you'll never see us do, just because of the rules and regulations now. Whitetail Institute, you know, they have their arrests and their slay, and I'm fine telling people about it. But it is clethodim and it's 2,4-DB. So you can go buy a 2.5 gallon jug of 2,4-DB for what they want. Actually, you can buy 2 of them jugs for what they want for 1 8-ounce bottle. So are they making money hand over fist? Heck yes, they are. But when we looked into it, now with the rules and regulations, unless you were grandfathered in, you cannot have living seeds, which, you know, all your seeds, these seeds in these bags, they got perforated holes. They're breathing, because these seeds are a living organism. You cannot have a seed and a herbicide in the same warehouse. It has to have its very own warehouse now. That's when we drew the line and said, we're not building a warehouse just to sell a couple herbicides. So that's why I push everybody to the clethodim, the 2,4-DB, the IMOX, stuff like that, just because we're not going to go that way and build a new warehouse facility, the whole 9 yards, just for 3 different chemicals. So we just can't do it. Here. Awesome. What's the NPK for percentage on your Jolt? It is 917.6, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, 917.8. 917.8. Where the Clover Fuels, this is 0028. And talking about fertilizer, I get them ask me all the time. They're using the fertilizer called Plot Max. Plot Max is a soil conditioner. It is not a fertilizer. It's humic acid that helps break down the soil. So just throwing that back out there. I had that call again today. So I get it quite often. The Clover Fuel, the Jolt, is our foliar fertilizer, which you look at the Jolt, 1 32-ounce bottle will cover 2 acres. The Clover Fuel 1 32-ounce bottle is going to do an acre. The humic acid in the Plot Max 1 32-ounce bottle is going to cover a half acre. So it's just picking the right thing you want and what you want it for. Just like your herbicides, using the right herbicide. Don't mix them together. Spray them separate. Give them 7 or 8 days apart from each other. You don't want to stun them plants too hard. All right, guys. I think I've talked about all the chemicals I can talk about. What else you got? Oh, what ratio of Jolt? At what ratio does Jolt get too hot and burn the plants? Unless you're overdoing the mixture rate, Floyd, you're not going to burn the plant. At a normal spraying, as in the 32-ounce bottle to a 2-acre plot, you're never going to burn that plot. The only time you have an issue is trying to spray it when it's very, very dry out. Let's say that you got a plot that's still hanging in there and You're not getting any moisture. The plants are getting ready to go dormant. They're starving for moisture, and you try to keep them alive with that jolt and spray them really, really heavy and hot. Mix it twice the much or whatever you're doing. That's when you can burn them plants because there's not enough moisture. They're not getting the moisture intake. But as in normal growth, getting the moisture, spraying the proper ratio, you don't have no issue at all about burning the plant. Austin's asking, can we dump jolt on dry fertilizer like urea before we put it on, as long as it doesn't clump up? You won't get much good out of it, bud, because the jolt fertilizer is a foliar fertilizer. It intakes in from the plant, the leaves and the stems. So it actually absorbs in through the plant. So you need to spray it. That's where you're going to get your most benefit from, is the intake in through the plant. Just looking back here, guys, make sure I didn't forget somebody here. Austin, I missed that one. You're talking about water hemp. What do you recommend for this? The clethodim is about the only thing you're going to be able to try on that. It or the IMOX. The IMOX will really knock it. The clethodim, you're going to have to give it a couple doses. If you can catch it at a young stage, you're good to go. But if it gets overgrown and crazy, you're going to have to take it a few steps or mow it first and let it come back a couple weeks and then go and spray it. But if it's overtaking the area, it's getting tall, the best thing you can do is mow that stuff down to a lower growth. Let it go for a few days, a good week or so, up to 10 days or even more, then come back in there and spray it. So now if it's an area that you know that you don't have anything planted in it, you're just trying to kill it out of an area before you plant something, Liberty, anything like that, it just kill it dead. But if it's in an existing plot, I would look more towards the IMOX or a couple of sprains of the clethodim. All right, you guys got any more questions? I think I've rambled on about as much as I can ramble on. I'm going to get you guys so confused on what to do because I just keep jumping back and forth to everything else. So I apologize about that. Again, I've talked for 45 minutes about it, but there ain't that much to it, guys. Pick the right thing. Only spray it if you need to spray it. Don't spray it to try to prevent something. Mix your crop oil in with it. Mix your foliar fertilizer in with it if you want to help the plants. The AMS Supreme is an excellent thing to use to get a good total burn off on it. But it's not, you do not have to use it. Don't think you have to go out there and buy it for it to work. That's not the thing. But it just definitely does help. Troy, you're welcome, bud. You have a great night, man. John, you're right. It's hard to, it's very hard to plant power line areas because the power company hires out and kills everything. You're exactly right. On my power lines, I know yours. I remember yours. They kill them deader than a doornail. But I've never had an issue with them spraying a killer just because I keep all mine are in clover and I keep them manicured. They look great. They're not great up in mobile floor rows like they used to be and all that stuff before I started planting them. So they don't get in there and spray nothing. They don't mow nothing. They will tear up stuff every once in a while and they get in there to cut some trees off the power lines or some branches close, which I know that needs to be done. But the thing that gets me is every year whenever I get my best year of barricade, it seems to be the third year, and that's when they come in and cut the trees off the lines, and they drive through. They got to drive across my barricade to do it. But I know it has to be done, and it's just a gamble I play with. But it always seems to fall on that. They do it every 3 years, and it always seems to fall on my best barricade year to block that road off, and they got to drive through it and knock it down. So, but again, it's got to be done. But I remember yours. They smoked it with chemical. I can't believe how dead that stuff was. All right, guys, got anything else on there? If not, we'll jump off here. Go up and see if any trees are left out there standing somewhere. I hear that old wind just a howling. Good evening, BGJ. Good to see you. Or actually, I'm not seeing you. I'm talking to you. You're seeing me, but I'm not seeing you. So there, Scott. There's a few fawns starting to show up. I'm starting to see a few, and it's just been over the last week. Floyd, I appreciate it, bud. Good night, man. But yeah, fawns are just starting to show up. All right, guys, we're going to call her a night. I'll get off here. We'll be back on in a couple of weeks. You need anything, you guys give me a holler, and we'll get after it. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.